Dünya and Maxim, welcome to the Leanpub launch video for Engineering Manager's Compass, Insights for Building Effective Engineering Organizations. I was wondering if you could take a moment to talk a little bit about yourselves and about your book and what it's about and who it's for. So Dünya, why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Dünya. I'm a passionate engineer and an engineering manager. I've been working in the industry for the last 20 years, I think, using various technologies, working on various products and so on. About 7 years ago, I think I discovered kind of my passion in sort of leading engineering teams and leading engineers and whatnot. And I fell in love with it. I really felt like this is my calling. This is what I'll be doing till the end of my life, kind of thing. And yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last 7 years, I'd say.
Fantastic. And you, Maxim?
Well, I have an engineering background. I work as an engineer. I studied computer science years ago. 10 years or so, I started to managing people. I realized there's a lot to learn, and I spent a lot of time like digging through the stuff, like actually what makes a good manager, and it's question that you're not gonna get answer today, right? Because I don't have it completely myself. And few years back, I met this guy. We met each other at the job, and I liked each other's style. And I'm like, hey, why don't we like share those things with each other? Then like, oh, there's more stuff. There's even more stuff, and we kind of had a long list of topics to talk about, which ended up like that seems like a outline of the book. Why don't we try to write it?
Yeah, well, thanks very much for sharing that little origin story. I mean, it's a really great book. You can tell how serious it is and how kind of based on experience, but also kind of meta level thinking about this kind of work. And it's very interesting. I mean, I don't know too many kind of professions where it's quite like it is in software engineering, where you study, say, computer science, you get jobs at companies, and then it's like from there that the manager is picked. And one thing I really like about your book that you say near the beginning is often what happens is when you suddenly find yourself in this position, the first thing you draw on is, oh, the good managers you've had and do what they did, and the bad managers that you have and don't do what they did. Dunya,
Excellent.
what was your experience? Was that your experience when you were first kind of promoted?
That was almost exactly what I felt like. I've got put on the job and I was given no guidance. I had a couple of good managers, I had a couple of bad managers, and the assumption was that if I would follow the good ones, I'd probably end up in a good place. And of course, it does help, right? Like it's definitely a good starting point. But as I progressed in my career, also sort of this background of having this computer science background where you've spent 4 years learning science, repeatability, testability, and all that stuff, suddenly being in an industry where this should matter, whereas as a manager it feels like you should just like go with the flow and like learn it on the job kind of thing. It just felt awkward to me. It really felt like there must be a guide that helps people get started, right? Like, and of course it's not easy to have everything ready made, and it's not like there's a formula to be a good manager, but yet we still felt like, yeah, there must be a starting guide. And that's actually what Maxim and I initially started writing, and it became more and more of a encyclopedia kind of thing, which then we felt like, maybe this is not the way to go, because nobody starts their career with a 12 volume encyclopedia. There must be something else out of it. And we had many conversations where we went through all the material we had collected over the years, refined it, and tried to bring it into a certain structure, which ended up being the book. But I'm sure Maxim would add a little bit more on top of this.
Yeah. Well, my experience is with managing teams and starting managing was kind of the same, but different. Yes, you do follow like what you have seen because you think it was the real. Like you had that manager who never had one-on-one with you, and then you had one who like having one-on-ones was like, oh, fantastic, that's a cool feature. I would do that, right? But then like the longer I tried to like distill that, oh, what works, the better I understood that it's not universal. It's very contextual. And it depends on the company, on the team, on the people on the team, on your personal attitudes. And then like when it came to the book, rather than giving advice, oh, do that, and you can read any, I don't know, agile, scrum, whatever book where actually that's how you should work, that's what you should track, what you should measure. where actually it all might work, and there are a bunch of teams who are doing that and they are successful, and there are a bunch of teams who are doing that and they are not successful. So then it's not a differentiating factor than what it is. And that's like the mental model, the thinking behind like what is the best thing to do in that given context.
Yeah, and
That's what we converted into that.
thanks for that great explanation. I mean, I can see it there in the sort of like how you got to that concept of what you were trying to do in the title of having a compass, you know, rather than a map or a guide. This is how to orient and situate yourself where you are, and to think about where you want to go. One of the really great lines in your book comes at the beginning, where you talk about this paradox that the work that matters most is the work that feels the least urgent. Dünya, can you maybe give an example of that, like a kind of like concrete example of where you've encountered that before?
No, man, it comes in various shapes and forms, I think, but it's quite easy, I think, to fall, especially as a new manager, right? To fall into that trap of like, okay, I'm good at what I do as an engineer. Therefore, I probably got this promotion, and now I'm managing many people like myself, right? And then everything you look at is an engineering problem. Everything you observe as an engineering problem, and therefore I think you attack it in the same way, right? However, I think as a manager, you kind of need to understand that's not what you're there for, right? You need to take a step back. You need to be the one looking ahead and helping your team out in getting there as efficiently as possible. And that's the thing you should be focusing on, right? And that tends to be the last thing that you, I guess, focus on the initial thing, because you're not used to it. You're not thinking that way, I would say. I've been guilty of this many times, I think, where I just feel like, oh, I see a problem, I'll jump in and I'll help my team and I'll fix it. And of course, I save the day, but ultimately, I'm not saving the team. I'm not making them a better team. I'm not growing them in that direction.
Yeah, it's speaking of special sort of features of the career of the, you know, engineer, like software engineer, is often you feel that connection, like you know what it's like to see problems, understand them, and solve them.
Yes.
And
I think
that's
that's
not
one more factor.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, there's one more factor to that, is that when you switch to managing people, and usually, as you said, managers come from engineers, like and once that shift happens, what happens? Like you get exposed to way more information,
Right.
you get dragged into way more conversation, and not all of them are valuable, not all of them actually essential, and not as urgent as they feel. But there is no label that tells you that is urgent, that is not, that you can ignore entirely. You kind of need to figure it out. But the constant flow of incoming information and the demands, oh, we need that, or can you do that? Please reply to that email, and other things, like, which is like daily manager's life with like 70 emails starting at night. You start your day and you already have like 100 emails unread and 30 messages to catch up. Like, a lot of it is just noise. And one thing is that safely ignoring part of it, yes, some things you will miss and they are important, but carving time for doing something that actually adds value to your team, add value to the bigger organization, align your team with the company. There's no time given like, oh, in this time block, please sit and define your hiring strategy or headcount needs or biggest technical depth in your team, right? Like, you need to find that problem exists, first of all, and then you need to find time to solve that problem. And the environment usually not supporting you in giving that time. Like, I don't know what's your experience working in companies, but usually there's like tens of people who want something from you, and very few who are ready to give you, oh yeah, sure, take your time.
Yeah, no, definitely that idea of claiming back your time, and realizing that it's up to you to kind of, you know, manage your own time if you can, or in the way that you can, is really important. It's not just it's not, once you're at that level, like, it's not just gonna happen. No one's gonna provide it to you. You have to figure it out. And if you're familiar with these challenges and thinking of trying to find new ways to overcome them, I can't recommend this book highly enough. It's Engineering Manager's Compass: Insights for Building Effective Engineering Organizations by Dünya Kirkali and Maxim Schepelin. I really highly recommend it. And thank you very much, guys, for taking the time to do this video with me today for all of us to watch.
For having us.
Yeah, thank you.